Good evening, good night, good everything, Kiras. Yeah, just like I'd promised, um, um, this is a video following up with what we discussed earlier. Actually, it's a continuation of what we looked at. It's on importance of measuring national income and then the problems first. Um, while measuring national income. Okay, just a reminder, please go through the PowerPoint I sent, the one I put on the platform. I added something on the circular of national income. Yeah, please go through it. I put the chart and some write-up. Okay, please go through it. Yeah, basically in this lecture I'm going to run through why it's important to measure national income and then the challenges or problem first. Okay, just a reminder, national income is all about the total monetary value of all final goods and services produced in a country in a given period of time, usually a year. So in this lecture we are going to look at why it's important to measure national income. Is it of any use? Is it relevant? Do we need to measure or spend a lot of money on measuring national income? Yeah, so we are going to look at some of the importance of measuring national income, and the first one is the national policies. Okay, the national policies, in this case I can say Ugandan policies, depend a lot on the national income data. Yeah, so it's important for that case to measure national income. Yeah, for instance, if you're having employment policies, they will depend a lot on what is produced under national income. What does the data have to say about employment, about people's employment status? Okay, what does it have to say about what people can produce, about how people consume? Okay, so such policies will depend on the data from national income um, studies. Okay, and then the other is economic planning. Yeah, economic planning. So you can see the national data of great importance when it comes to economic planning, or when it comes to planning for our economy. Yeah, so it's essential that it's essential that a country's gross income, output, savings, and consumption are put into consideration. And of course, when we talk about putting into consideration, is knowing them. Yeah, it's good to know about the output, the saving levels, consumption levels, you know, for better planning, you know. So the country, all those who plan for the country, will have in mind the saving culture, how much is saved, how much people consume while they are planning. Without those figures, the planning won't be that effective. Yeah, we may come up with fake plans. And then the economic models. Yeah, the economists at one point will come up with investment models, economic models. Those models based or depend a lot on national income data. Okay, and then research. A researcher. I'm a researcher. The same other researchers. Yeah. So as researchers, national income data is too important. If you do any research on a macro level, you need that information. You need information about output, you need information about income, about saving, about consumption, about investment, about employment, etc. Okay, you will need that information as data to answer the questions you'll be having, your research questions. For instance, I may be interested in knowing the determinants of unemployment. Okay, yeah, I need data on unemployment. I need data on employment to do that. Okay, so national income data is vital for that cause. Then per capita income. A per capita income is used a lot as a measure of country's economic welfare. Okay, so you can't have per capita income without having national income data. Per capita income, we're talking about income per individual. Yeah, that's the per capita income. And then distribution of income. Yeah, so the national income statistics enable us to know about the distribution of income in a country. Yeah, so from the data pertaining wages, rent, interest, and profits, we learn about the distribution to know who has more, okay, who has less, who earns more, who earns less, okay. And we'll see that the government uses that information for its planning purpose and for the policies they intend to put in line with fighting inequality. So without that information, they can't know who is lacking and who is not lacking, who to add on and who not to add on. Okay, and then we have yeah. So those are some of the importance or the purpose of measuring national income. There are others, yeah, but I've just picked out a few. Please, you can go and read more and get others. So now let's look at the general problem in national income measure. Yeah, general problems. Those problems. Recall, I told you we have three methods or approaches to measuring national income. We have the output approach, we have the income approach, and then the expenditure approach. There are some problems per method or per approach, but in this case I mixed them. I want you to be able to find out that this problem falls under the output approach, this one falls under the income approach, and this one falls under the expenditure approach. Okay, so you're going to look at those problems which are encountered while measuring national income. Yeah, so I'm going to run through them. So let's look at these problems. One, self-employed persons. Yeah, of course you will best understand these problems if you have the definition of national income on your fingertips. Yeah, for everything we'll do, we'll hint on what we have in the definition, we'll hint on what we have as an assumption. Okay, self-employed person. There are those people who are self-employed. They're confused. Yeah, so it's hard to find out the different inputs provided by these people. Yeah, okay, because these people, they contribute the capital, they contribute the land, they contribute the labor, and even the abilities in the business. All right, so at times it becomes hard to measure their specific inputs. Yeah, then we have goods meant for self-consumption. Yeah, if you recall, we are looking at, in the national income, we measure the monetary value of goods and services, of the final goods and services produced. You can't measure the monetary value of the goods I've kept home for my personal consumption. Okay, for instance, if I'm a farmer, I produce some products, I take some to the market and I keep some for my own consumption. You know, it would have been better if we reflect even the ones I've kept at home in the national income account. Why? Because I produced them using resources, meaning I spent while producing them. So we would have wished to know how much I'm getting from them since I spent on them. But it's hard, because here we are looking at the value of those products in the market, but these ones have not reached the market. Yeah, so it becomes hard, or it becomes a problem to account for those goods kept for personal or for self-consumption. Okay, then we have services of housewives. Housewives, yeah, housewives. Okay, it's a dream for everyone. I assume it's a dream for everyone to be a wife at one point. It's a dream for everyone to have a wife at one point. It's a dream for everyone, to be someone's wife at certain points. So wives do a lot of things at home. They do a lot of work at home. Yeah. Besides the other work God created or God assigned to them. Wives do several other things. They prepare meals, they serve, they do tailoring, they mend, they wash, they clean, they bring up children, etc. And for all these services, they're not paid. What a shame. Yeah? They're not paid.
What a shame.
Okay? So it would have been good if they are paid and then we have those payments including national income. Yeah, because if you get a maid or if you get someone to do those cleaning services, those service providers do that and so on, they'll be paid. How about why not paying the wives? Okay, of course, I think they'll be paying mine. Okay. So the reason as to why we exclude these services from national income is because the love and affection of a housewife while performing those duties cannot be measured in monetary terms. Yeah, unless if you're doing it without any affection or love. But in most cases we do them out of love. They do them out of love. They take care of the children out of love. So it's hard to monetize that love. And that's why it's hard to attach or to add those in the national income while we are doing our measurements. And then the other example is teachers. Yeah, teachers with if you're a teacher and you teach your child at home, the ideal is for a teacher you have to be paid for those services. I come to you, see, they pay me for shouting and teaching. Okay. How about if I'm teaching people at home? I'm teaching Ricardo, I'm teaching Ruben at home. Yeah, I won't be paid. Okay, I won't be paid for that. Yeah, but I'm offering a service which won't be paid. Yes, so that becomes a problem of national income measurement. Then we have I think the slide drain, but it was about intermediate and final goods, differentiating between the intermediate and the final good. Recall we said in national income we consider only the final goods altogether. So at times it's hard to differentiate between what an intermediate is and a final good, because some intermediate goods could be like final goods, so it could confuse. And if you fail to differentiate between those two, you end up doing what we call double counting. You count it as an intermediate good, and then you count again as a final good. All right. And then uh, the other thing is the old clothes, those old things, second hand. People enjoy a lot second hand things. Of course, we have a saying: second hand things are durable. You know, they are better. I think I don't believe a lot in those sayings, but in developing countries, we rely a lot on second things, second clothes, cars, wigs, weave, makeup. All those things are mostly second hand. So second hand is a problem because the ideal is to count a good once the time it's produced, but you may find that these items exchange or change hands on several occasions. You buy a car, you build with it for a year, and after you sell it to another person, and then a person sells it to another person, and so on and so forth. So if you make a mistake of including those incomes of during those periods, then it will be a mistake. Recall you will have counted at the start. Okay, at the start. Yeah, you will have counted at the start, so it becomes a problem. Then there's depreciation. Okay, so we should know that if you want to get the net national product, NNP, you get the gross national product and then you subtract the depreciation. So there are some products you buy and it takes over 30 years. It exists for 30 years. Yes, so the ideal or the normal way of calculating depreciation is to do depreciation over that period of time. Yeah, forgetting that the value would change over time. Okay. Yeah, or the price of that machine will change over time. Meaning the value you're going to get will not be that perfect. Because in some years the value of the machine will be higher than the others. Okay, and then that's related to that one, the element of price changes. Yeah, the prices keep on changing. And we said under the output approach, we are looking at the monetary value of goods and services altogether, meaning to get that value, you're going to attach a price to the product or a service altogether. So whenever the prices keep on changing, when they increase, the national income will be higher, but that may not be um, in line with what we've produced. Okay, so the national income might be high, but when what we produce is low, and there are times when the price will be low. The output is higher, but the value or what we can count from the output is low because of the low prices. So that also becomes a problem. And then there are these government services which confuse. They confuse in a way that you can't, it's hard to define whether they are intermediate or they are final goods. Recall, in national income, you're looking at only the final goods or services. Okay, so there are those services the government offers. Yeah, there are those which act as final services, and then there are those which hope in producing either other goods or services. And it's often hard to differentiate between those which are final and those which are not final. Okay, yeah. So we are saying it's not possible to make a clear distinction as to which service protects the people. Now that's the final. Yeah, and which protects the productive process. If it protects the people, it's final. But if it's protecting the productive process, which will lead production of other goods or services, it's then called intermediate. Yeah, the failure to distinguish between these two becomes a problem. Okay, because you may end up adding the intermediate while counting national income. And recall, we need only the final. And then the value of leisure. You know, I think every person has some leisure time. Yeah, but can we monetize that leisure time? So we sell some of our time to employers. I sell some of my time to the university I work for. Yeah, meaning for the time I'm at UCU, I'm paid for that time. How about the time when I'm not at UCU, when I'm relaxing? Okay, that time when I'm enjoying my leisure, and in most cases that time is more than the one I spend at the university. Yeah, and we shouldn't forget that some of that leisure time is used to render household services that escape inclusion in the GDP altogether. Yeah, you spend your leisure time cooking, doing housework, helping out. Yeah, that won't be more monetized. It won't be given the monetary value. Yeah, but recall there is some little time you spend at a workplace and they give you 5,000 and it's counted. But you may find that what you're offering during leisure or what you're doing during leisure, yeah, would have been more valuable than the time you spend at your workplace. And we leave it out. It's not counted. It's not counted. Yeah. Neither is the satisfaction you get from your leisure counted. Of course, we're talking about good leisure. Okay. Then there is underground economy. Yeah. In most countries, most so the developing countries like Uganda, we have a lot of underground economy. We're talking about those activities which escape authority, which are not reported to the tax or the government authorities. Yeah, these can include illegal goods and services, such as trading in harmful drugs, gambling. Gambling, I think nowadays is legal. Smuggling and prostitution. Yeah, I'll talk about prostitution. There are prostitutes who earn a lot, who get a lot of money from offering their service altogether. Yeah, someone can be for a night 1 million. So meaning a week those are 7 millions. Okay, let's give 2 days for service or for refreshing. Yeah, so you find that a person earns 5 millions a week from prostitution. Actually, some even earn in billions. Yeah, but that money can't be traced. It can't be tracked down in the national income records because it's an illegal activity. Yeah, same for those countries where they legalize prostitution. Yeah, but here, people earn a lot, yeah, from selling what God gave them, but it can't be catered for while we are measuring national income. And this applies even to those other illegal activities, smuggling, dealing in those harmful drugs. They give people a lot of money, but that money can never be counted or measured under GDP or national income. And finally, transfer payments and capital gains. Yeah, at times we earn money we've not worked for. You have a pen pal, you have a brother, you have a stalker, they keep on sending you money, let's say from abroad. That money is not catered for under national income. Okay, and at times it's a lot of money. Okay, you have a family, a member in the States, and he keeps on saving you monthly stipends or monthly transfers. That money will be left out while measuring national income, and it's always a lot. Okay, yeah, of course the same applies to those who get scholarships for higher studies. Okay, so these are some of the challenges, or these are some of the problems encountered while measuring national income. Please go on and read more. Go on and read more. Like I told you earlier, watch this video, note down what you didn't understand. It could be argument, maybe something you want to add. So when we get to our live sessions, we'll now try to discuss, we'll try to break down this presentation. Okay, so please, you watch this. Yeah, don't just run through. They're just a few minutes, like 25 minutes, 23. Yeah, watch the video and you prepare for that live session. Have a blessed day.